How can the states begin to get themselves ready?
Well, for the states to do that, they have to build compelling and infrastructure that will make them attractive. You see, the absence of infrastructure increases the cost of doing business in any location. You cannot just go because you have raw material in a particular location. It might be more profitable or more cost efficient for you to situate elsewhere and then truck that raw material from that location to your location. You can't go to a place and build a car manufacturing company if you don't have access to petrochemical, because a lot of the parts that you see use are products of petrochemical industries. Like you said, you have to look at the steel industry, okay, but you also look at the transport system. You have to look at the availability of power. Okay, so you have to look at a lot of factors. And if you are building targeted for export, you have to look at the closeness to seaport. So a lot of factors come in determining the where you locate your business. But the key thing is this: states that build infrastructure, compelling infrastructure, make their states attractive for investors, for people that want to set up companies or industries to stay in the location. If you do not have infrastructure, the availability of raw materials may not be the only compelling reason for a company to set up in your location.
Well, let's look at agriculture. That's another sector that the federal government is very passionate about, and that's where they want to diversify away from oil too. Now, we know that most of the states at one point or the other have practiced agriculture in every form, whether in cash crop farming or in cattle rearing and herding and the rest of it. But some of those states, as we speak now, do not have anything to show, so to speak, in terms of funds raised from that sector. Now more than ever, it's very important that as we're diversifying away from oil and focusing more on agriculture, those states that are supposed to have to play a key role in all of this begin to show themselves. How can they harness that potential to show themselves to be economically strong and ready to face whatever challenge it is that is coming ahead?
Okay, it will boil down to what we said earlier. You see, you have what we call complementary infrastructure. If you look at states like some northeast states, well, you have to address the issue of security in those states. But beyond the issue of security in those states, you have to also address the issue of transport infrastructure. And then you have to address the issue of power.
What about, you're not talking about other policies, for instance, the Land Use Act and the rest of it?
You see, the Land Use Act is at the federal level. But we're talking about what the states can do.
But also at the state level, they also have issues like that.
You see, the Land Use Act bestows the authority for signing of CFO to a state government. Some states have developed the competence, have actually, some state governors have decentralized that and then allowed other people to sign on their behalf, or delegated their authority to some other people to sign. But beyond that, the key thing is that the Land Use Act, you have to look at the smallholder schemes, where families who own land, but ultimately the ownership of land resides with the federal government, or resides with the state. Okay, the state has a right to revoke, to give CFO, to assign CFO, to revoke CFO. But beyond that, the key thing that would drive agriculture, because I don't think for those who are going into commercial agriculture, reasonably you can get the state government assign a huge portion of land to you in the north, where you have massive agriculture. But let's look at the difference between agricultural products produced in the north and what happens in a place like Kenya. If you go to Amsterdam in the morning, you will get flowers that were plucked in Kenya the previous night and shipped to Amsterdam in the morning. So you can buy fresh flowers that came from Kenya. Why? Because they have a transport system that will make it possible to take those products to Amsterdam. Take, for instance, tomato that is produced in large quantities in the north. You cannot bring fresh tomato from the north to Lagos and not lose 50% of it. So Nigeria cannot ship fresh tomato. And that's why the government said they're building cargo airports in some locations. Yes, but beyond that, we need to have a network of efficient rail system. Efficient rail system in the sense that when the 21st century, we can no longer have locomotives. We need standard gauge rails that can run at about 250 kilometers per hour. So that if we have to move a product from Kano, which is about 800 kilometers, to Lagos, in 4 hours, that product should be in Lagos. That simply means it can actually ship a tomato, freshly harvested tomato, freshly harvested vegetable from Kano, and it gets to Lagos and is sold in the market in the morning, or shipped the next day. And you need to have that level of infrastructure. Otherwise, agriculture will not be very profitable for those that produce it. Simple reason is that the cost of transportation, the leakages, the losses along the value chain make it so that the ultimate producer gets less than 30% of value of what he produces. So agricultural productivity will only improve where you have complementary infrastructure to support the distribution of those products. And that's why I said, look, even for those states that have competitive advantage in terms of agricultural production, if they don't have supporting infrastructure, they will not get the benefit from it. I come where there's no good road network. The people from my village produce a lot of cassava and yam tubers, gari, and between the price they sell and the price you buy the same product was bought from them in Umuahia, it's about 50% difference. So these people toil day and night in Ugweke to produce cassava and yam. Then the people who brave it to come to the village to buy those products, by the time they get to Umuahia, they get 50% margin. So who is getting the benefit? The poor farmer remains poor because the road, a short road, has not been built. And that's what happens largely in agriculture. When agricultural products are produced in locations that are difficult to access, then you cannot have, for instance, we talk of value-added industries. We're looking at companies that are building factories to harness and produce those materials into finished or semi-finished goods. You can't have those companies where you don't have power supply, you do not have road network, you do not have security. So those things have to come complementary before agriculture will actually blossom the way the government is pursuing it.
Well, all those things like you mentioned, I'm sure the government is already working on setting all those things right. And so definitely we should see a change very soon. But thank you so much, Johnson, for speaking with us on the program today. It's been quite interesting having you, as always.
My pleasure.
Well, I've been speaking with the Managing Director of Cowry Assets and Management Limited, Johnson Chukwu, and we've been looking at the economy, that's the political economy actually, and how it can be transformed to boost Nigeria's economy in so many ways. We've been focusing on what the states should be doing and can be doing as well to contribute their own code more than they are doing right now, and how less dependency on federation accounts is the right way to go. And he's talked about a lot of solutions and ways they can be going about it. But that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbin.